Hi guys, could we call this an earthquake swarm at Bardabunga? An earthquake swarm that lasts over several days, right? It's not a cluster earthquake swarm, but it is I would say, enlarged activity that we see there. So we just had another 4.5 earthquake at Bardabunga shortly before 6 o'clock p.m. local time, coming with several aftershocks. And the largest aftershock was 2.7. And here you see the location where the green stars are here in this area. And they're saying there's still no signs of volcanic activity despite the high level of seismic activity at the site. But is this really the case? Because we just had at the same location magnitude 3.7, 3.9 were recorded yesterday, and even on September 3rd, a magnitude 5.0 at this same location. So what is Bardabunga and what can Bardabunga do? I will tell you about the most recent eruption at Bardabunga that was occurring in 2014. So Bardabunga is an active and productive stratovolcano located under the Vatnajökull area. It's a glacier area. It's covered with ice and snow. This is also called Vatnajökull National Park. It's Iceland's most extensive glacier that they have. And if you look at an aerial picture of Iceland, of the whole country, you see this large white spot there, and that's the Vatnajökull area. And also Bardabunga is the second highest mountain in all of Iceland. It's over 2,000 meters tall. That's 6,600 feet above sea level. And Bardabunga is also part of a volcanic system that is called the Bardabunga Vedur volcanic system, and that is huge. It's about 190 kilometers long, that's about 120 miles, and it's 25 kilometers wide. So of that volcanic zone, the Bardabunga system lies on the eastern volcanic zone, right? It's basically consisting of a central volcano that is rising up to 2009 meters above sea level, but it also has a fissure swarm, but that is partly covered by this Vatnajökull ice cap that you see. The system is the longest volcanic system in Iceland, and it gets its name from the central volcano that is there, the Bardabunga volcano. So the Vatnajökull glacier covers most of that central volcano and the fissures that swarm around that volcano. This ice-filled caldera that the volcano has is a 65 square kilometer ice cap. That is huge. And within the last 11 centuries, this system has produced 26 eruptions, and it is considered to be the most active volcanic system in Iceland. So far, let's see what the Reykjanes Peninsula is producing in the next little while. So the most recent eruption from Bardabunga was a large fissure eruption in an area that's called Holuhraun. It started in August 2014 and it lasted until February 2015. So that was longer than anything that we've seen on the Reykjanes Peninsula in the last 12 months. So most eruptions that are happening at Bardabunga are basaltic explosive eruptions on the edges of the volcano, but it also creates large lava flows. Eruptions from this central volcano can cause glacial floods, right? It's covered with ice, which would be brought down in rivers in the western area, but also to the north of the Vatnajökull glacier. And eruptions that are occurring in this fissure swarm that is in the southern area, they could really produce trouble for their most active power station that is also in this area there. So these volcanic eruptions seem to like to threat power stations, power plants, right? The Sortsengi power plant, for example, has been threatened by these eruptions that are happening in the Reykjanes Peninsula in the Sudnuka crater series, and we're just basically waiting for the next one there as the land keeps rising again underneath Sortsengi, right where the power plant is located. But let's have a look what the Icelandic Met Office has released about the recent earthquake activity at Bardabunga. So you see the chart here and you see the blue one, that's a big one, right? So these are the earthquakes that occurred basically today and the aftershocks. And after the last eruption that happened in 2014, we will get into this. Also, a land rise has started. So something is happening again at Bardabunga. And so you see the graphs here that basically covers the month from the last 12 months. So you see there is a heightened activity in the north. You see this best starting basically, April. It keeps rising, the land keeps rising, right? And then you see the chart here that shows the uplift in millimeters. There also you see that it is rising up. So check out this picture. This is a picture of the last volcanic eruption at Bardabunga in 2014. So you see the red area where it says hotspot, right? You also see the Vatnajökull ice cap. So over the past 7 years prior to that eruption, they recorded a gradually increasing seismic activity at the Bardabunga volcano in Iceland. And then they had an eruption in 2011 at the nearby Grímsvötn volcano. And after that eruption, the seismic activity did drop a little bit, but then it began to pick up again on August 16th in 2014. And then only shortly after that, by August 29th, fountains of lava had begun to spill from an old fissure that was also already there in that lava field, in the hole around lava field. So an eruption began. So the eruption continued for quite a while. And then early September 5th, the Icelandic Met Office even reported that 2 new fissures had developed south of the initial eruption. So this created this lava field, basically, that you see here on these pictures, the black area, so to speak, right? Everything was covered in ice. The new fissures, these 2 new fissures were closer to the Vatnajökull ice cap, right? Just 2 kilometers north of the edge of that ice cap. So they had a great concern, and the concerns were growing larger by the day, that a next eruption or this eruption could start happening subglacially underneath this glacier ice cap. And we know if magma and then lava that comes out mixes with water or ice, it's getting explosive, right? That could potentially causing glacial outburst floods as the lava starts erupting underneath the ice, right? So not good. So this is what happened back in 2014. And now it seems the glacier volcano, so to speak, is at it again. So I guess we will have to wait and see if this seismic increase in earthquake activity will continue. I mean, magnitude 5, that's a number, right? That definitely tells us something could happen there. And all over Iceland, we see some activity that seems to be increased. There was a small earthquake swarm in the western part of the Katla area, which is also not so great. They're also recording a slight increase in land rise there. And it seems it was rising already 2 centimeters in the last few weeks. So there they have to observe if this is turning into a long-term trend, if we could see something there as well. On the Reykjanes Peninsula also, we know underneath Svartsengi, that magma chamber is definitely filling up again. The land keeps rising there again, but you know, also the trend of like increasing earthquake activity in Iceland is also continuing on the Reykjanes Peninsula. There's earthquakes occurring in the Krýsuvík system. And if you've seen my last video, we've been talking about the Krýsuvík system quite a lot, because that could threaten the new location of a proposed airport that they basically put a study that was very, very costly, puts the new airport in an area that could be overrun by lava pretty soon. So check out this video. It's like mind-blowing, I would say. So earthquakes primarily in the Krýsuvík system at an increased rate, and where Fjarðareiðsfjall is. So we had 37 tremors that there were just happening in the last 2 days there, basically. But one problem that they have there in that area is they have a very small or weak GPS network system that is covering that area that would be able to really detect a land rise more precisely. So it's not as well equipped there as it is in Svartsengi. So they might not even notice a localized land rise that might happen there. And we know, scientists have said, we could see multiple simultaneous eruptions on the Reykjanes Peninsula at the same time. That would be a problem. And then there was a swarm of earthquakes in an area that we haven't discussed at all in the recent month. It's another tongue breaker again. It's the Lossufjöll volcano. No, Lossufjöll volcano on the Snæfellsnes Peninsula. I don't know if I pronounced that right. Check out the map. That is these forky looking areas basically where this is happening. And the earthquakes in this area are gradually becoming more frequent at various central volcanoes that are located there. I mean, the volcanoes are everywhere on Iceland, right? It's basically a big volcanic island, right? That's what made Iceland, the volcanoes. So many people are wondering, is it really continuously increasing in Iceland? Is the whole island blowing up? No, I don't think so. So is there really an increase in seismic activity, or is this just perception? That it's just the perception changed because the seismic network is improving, communication is improving all the time. But, you know, has it really improved that much in the recent month? I feel it is really rumbling in Iceland right now. Today there was a small swarm of earthquakes at the Lossufjöll area on the Snæfellsnes Peninsula, and that was around 13 shallow tremors with low magnitudes. So that Lossufjöll area is one of the largest volcanic systems in western Iceland. So it is a significant area, and it is located in an area where you could observe definitely an increase in seismic activity in the recent months. And that seems to have affected also other volcanoes in this area. So already since 2021, Icelandic geoscientists have observed an increase in seismic activity in this area. And that's why they have added another seismic instrument, right? A seismograph was installed in the area at the end of the month. So that tells us they think something is going on, or at least they are a little bit concerned. So they want to monitor that more closely. For now, they think that this could be related to tectonic plates moving, right? There's the rift going through Iceland. What is a little bit concerning is that this region lies west of Iceland's main fault zone, so not directly on them. And it's somewhat weird that these earthquakes are occurring predominantly at the volcanoes that are in this area, right? So it looks like they're more related to the volcanoes than to the rift zone. I mean, then we can say, yeah, but the volcanoes are also located in areas where there are already weak zones in the Earth's crust because of this, right? And then we could see faults, but they think that at least some of the quakes could be related to magma rising up to the surface. The best way to find out if magma is rising to the surface is to find out if there is a land rise, right? Like we've seen in Svartsengi multiple times. So the seismographic instruments that they have installed don't really help with that. So they would also need more GPS measuring stations to really see, is the land rising there or is it not? And here comes an interesting theory that would be, I have to say again, not really good for Iceland. So remember, basically since 2021, the Reykjanes Peninsula has woken up from an 800-year dormancy. It has been calm for 800 years. And it started with the Fagradalsfjall eruption in 2021. So the Reykjanes Peninsula did wake up. The other peninsula also started with an increased earthquake activity in 2021. So is there a connection? Are the two connected? Are the two peninsulas connected? The tensions that are caused by the land rise on the Reykjanes Peninsula underneath Svartsengi, is that affecting the Snæfellsnes and could trigger earthquakes there? That would be really not good at all, in my opinion. Or is it that just magma is rising up separately under the Snæfellsnes Peninsula and fluids are coming up, and that this is directly increasing the pressure on the fault lines there, causing the earthquakes? They don't know yet, but it seems it's stressing people out more and more, especially if you've seen my last video. I mean, they need a new airport, they need more space, but where would they put it? Now, basically everything is at risk from lava flow. The Krýžovik system from the Bláfjöll area, this could send lava flows towards the capital, towards the outskirts of Reykjavik. I mean, Professor Thorvaldur Thorvaldsson has warned like months ago and said, well, you have to consider starting building like lead walls around your properties in the outskirts of Reykjavik maybe, but we also need to start thinking about protection for the other power plants or critical infrastructure that is on the Reykjanes Peninsula, not only Svartsengi and Grindavik. And they have learned this now because the last eruption in the Sutnuka crater series has happened further north. So at first everyone thought, that's cool, great for Grindavik, right? And Grindavik's out of the woods with this eruption and the Svartsengi Blue Lagoon area as well. But now it could flow over Reykjanesbrau, the main artery on the Reykjanes Peninsula that connects the Keflavik airport with the capital, with Reykjavik. Now they said, oh, let's already build a detour for Reykjanesbrau in case it's damaged by a lava flow. But they don't know where to build that detour, because on one side there's the ocean and on the other side that's where the lava flow is coming from. And then look at this. This is where the costly study has put the future location of a potential airport, which doesn't make sense, right? Check this out, because they haven't even factored in the recent eruptions that have happened in the last 12 months when they put that location there. That study has just been released. It's kind of crazy. Link is in the end screen. So the net is closing. The volcano is closing in on the people on the Reykjanes Peninsula, but for Iceland, the problem is most of the people that live in Iceland live on the Reykjanes Peninsula. So the infrastructure is critical that this is going to be protected, but also where the people will live. The village of Vogar, the settlement, is also now potentially at risk from a lava flow that comes from the northern Sudnuka crater series eruptions. And they think the next eruption could be even bigger with a larger lava flow. And if this is even going further north, then Voga and Reykjanes have a major problem. If it's going south, it'll destroy Grindavik potentially, or the power plant. So it's not good at all. And then Professor Thorvaldur Thorvaldsen said, we could see, like in Hawaii, like decades lasting continuous eruptions. So then you have a continuous lava flow. How will you be able to protect? You can't keep increasing defense walls all the time. There's a limit, right? Where would you divert the lava flow? So huge problems ahead for Iceland if this doesn't stop anytime soon, and it doesn't look like it will stop anytime soon. And if you look at the whole Reykjanes Peninsula, there's lava fields everywhere. This consists of lava, right? So if it happened once, it will happen again. And that's the problem that they're facing, guys. So check out the videos in the end screen. You will learn everything about this. But also check out this video about the mystery of the sinking of that super yacht. More and more is coming out, and it's really, really weird. Check this out. If you're interested in the Titan, check this out. And subscribe to my channel, and you can check everything out, because there is so much about Iceland. The Campi Flegrei in Italy, a potential supervolcano that is threatening more than 3 million people. That one is active. Just had a large earthquake swarm yesterday, guys. So check it out, subscribe, become a member of the channel so that you see behind the scenes what I'm doing, what Rudi is doing, and what's happening. So thanks for that. Thanks for your support. Check out the links in the description of this video as well. And I see you soon. Thank you, guys. Stay safe. Bye-bye.